Welcome to the Den, the Dark Entertainment Network. I am the Gothic Rose, and this is a channel where the news meets conspiracy theories. It makes babies in my brain, and it comes out my mouth. If this is your type of content, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and hit that bell, because I am not going to stop. Hello, dear fiends of the Den. We are back with more of the Epstein scandal, but first, I have never seen such grief as I'm seeing with Sharon Osbourne and Jack and Kelly, and it just made me cry to watch Ozzy's funeral. Oh, you will be so missed. Rest in peace, Prince of Darkness. My love to the Osbournes, all of you. So let's talk about how the Epstein scandal is not going away, and people are starting to call it the Trump scandal. Let's dive in. As we all know, Virginia Giuffre allegedly died by suicide, but in a very chilling public statement in December 2019 that resurfaced widely following her death, she posted this on X, which was formerly Twitter, and it's been reposted by public figures, including Representative Nancy Mace and Donald Trump Jr., who called it wild, which is very strange because the statement, of course, fueled speculation and conspiracy theories, especially in light of her recent car accident and her allegations of domestic abuse and her advocacy against powerful figures like Epstein and Prince Andrew. And she went on to say, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. And the photo of her in the hospital when she said she was in a car accident, she had actually recently before her death stepped forward to say that her husband of 22 years was abusive. So was this his physical abuse? Did he have something to do with her death and it has nothing to do with Epstein? Or was he working for Epstein as an operative the entire time? Why do I do these things? I don't know. So here's a recording of Virginia Giuffre confirming that Epstein used Mar-a-Lago as a hunting grounds.
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and trapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be.
So she said she'll never stop fighting, and this was before 2019, I believe. I just couldn't find the exact date. And let's hear her on Maxwell.
She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious. She was evil. And she's a woman.
Her lawyers have said Glenn Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been.
That goes on with Gayle King saying that she is a media spin victim, Ghislaine Maxwell, and we all know that that's not true, but that's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to make her a victim. She is not a victim. She was the victimizer, the predator. Why is it all leading back to Virginia Giuffre? So Trump now claims that this inappropriate behavior, which I spoke about earlier with Jeffrey Epstein, which I thought was over a real estate deal, was over him stealing teenagers from his Mar-a-Lago spa. Now, may I ask why those teenagers were working in your Mar-a-Lago spa? And then
speculation of
suddenly,
stonewalling and
Virginia
all of these
Giuffre, who's been
Epstein-related
working at
disclosures, and
Mar-a-Lago
now
at
they want to
16, is
withhold like
trafficked
100,000
by
pages
Ghislaine
from the
Maxwell
public,
at
which is not right.
17
We know
to
that they
Prince
had
Andrew
thousands of agents
after being
flagging any
stolen
mentions of Trump in the
by
Epstein
Jeffrey Epstein.
files, and
And my interpretation of this is
they
Epstein didn't
speculation
give
of
Trump money
stonewalling and
for
all of these
Virginia.
Epstein-related
So if you
disclosures,
didn't
and
know,
now they
just a
want
little bit
to
of
withhold
background
like
about
100,000
Virginia Giuffre at the
pages
time. She
from
was
the public,
Virginia
which is not
Roberts, and
right.
she was
We
born
know
on
that they
August
had
9th,
thousands of
1983 in
agents
Sacramento,
flagging
California,
any
and her
mentions of
family
Trump in the
relocated to
Epstein
Palm Beach
files,
County,
and
Florida, and that's where she spent much of
they
her early life, and
speculation
that is where
of
at age
stonewalling and
16
all of these
she began working
Epstein-related
at Mar-a-Lago,
disclosures,
and
and now
this
they
is
want
what
to
led to her
withhold like
recruitment
100,000
by Ghislaine
pages
Maxwell
from the
and
public, which
Jeffrey
is not
Epstein.
right. We know that
So
they
it's really
had
interesting. And
thousands
if
of
you've heard
agents
that audio
flagging
about missing
any
to
mentions of
scheduled
Trump in the
check-ins,
Epstein
I
files,
cannot
and
verify if that is her or not. So I'm not
they
sure,
speculation
where to
of
go with that one.
stonewalling and all.
So let's hear the audio of Trump talking on Air Force One when he says that Epstein allegedly stole young women who worked at his beach club, who were as young as 16.
Mar-a-Lago, you're saying that Jeffrey Epstein poached two of your staffers. Who were they? Were they young? I don't want to say two, or I don't want to say any number. You're talking about many years ago, but yeah, he took people, and because he took people, I said, don't do it anymore. They work for me, and he took, beyond that, he took some others, and once he did that, that was the end of him. I didn't like, when they steal people, I don't like it. Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women? Were some of them young women? Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were. Yes, they were. Yeah. What did they do? In the spa. In the spa. Yeah. People that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world in Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever. He's right.
Well, we could pick a lot apart about that. So he's first of all saying she had no complaints about them. It was Virginia Giuffre. And we know that she did work there in the spa. But again, why was a 16-year-old working in a spa? Trump does not get mad about anything other than money. So, like I said earlier, my theory is that he was not paid for the use of these girls that he believed he owned. So that's why they were stolen. And it's funny that he's saying you can't just take people when that's exactly what he has ICE doing. The irony is not lost here in the den. And of course, Ghislaine Maxwell with the nerve of steel, just the one nerve, because that's all she needs, has her lawyers demanding certain things for her. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, after meeting with Todd Blanche, which seems odd, and having an entire box of, I guess, evidence or something to go over herself that she herself carried into the prison, she has offered to testify before Congress, but with major conditions, and this includes immunity. So, according to CNN, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice has offered to testify before Congress, but she wants a whole list of demands sent to the House Oversight Committee by her attorney. So, the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, subpoenaed Maxwell to testify next month. Now, they've all said that these are certain things that she wants, okay? So she's talking about like not getting a fair trial, tainting a future jury pool, and all of these things. Like, I'm sorry, honey, we know you trafficked kids. How is anyone supposed to have any kind of sympathy for you? I don't think that that's going to happen. So the oversight committee, and this is according to a spokesperson, will respond to Maxwell's attorney soon, but will not consider granting congressional immunity for her testimony. I don't think there are many Republicans that want to give immunity to someone that may have been sex trafficking children, Comer told CNN last week. I think that goes for some Democrats too, unless they're on the list, and that's their problem. So she's asking for a grant of formal immunity. The interview can't happen at the facility where she's serving her sentence. To prepare adequately for any congressional deposition and ensure accuracy and fairness, we would require the committee's questions in advance. Surprise questioning would be both inappropriate and unproductive. The interview would be scheduled only after the resolution of her Supreme Court petition and her forthcoming habeas petition, and the Supreme Court will not act on Maxwell's petition until October, when the justices are scheduled to come back from summer break. So Maxwell's attorneys are also saying that if all of these demands are met, she will have no choice but to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights. So I say just take your Fifth Amendment rights and shove them where the sun don't shine, because you're only going to get Trump out of trouble, get yourself out of trouble, and again, the victims will be silenced. And as we know, the MAGA world is fractured because Trump said that he would release the files. And here he is with Melania, the current first lady, both of whom just destroyed Jackie Kennedy's Rose Garden with two convicted sex traffickers of minors. And this is our president and first lady. And somehow he managed to fool people and think that he was the good guy. But the more he keeps talking, the more he's digging himself a big hole. I've been talking the haunted history of Hollywood for a long time, and I've been talking about the Velvet No and the fixers and the handlers and everything. But this has got serious, serious connections, Ghislaine Maxwell, to some of those fixers. I mean, Eddie Mannix, right? He was behind the scenes and he was fixing things, but she's actually in front of the scenes doing everything in reverse to let people know now that she is going to publicly speak to get herself out of what she secretly did. And, I don't think she ever thought that she was going to get caught. I think that she still believes that she was protected under Jeffrey Epstein's earlier deal, non-prosecution agreement from 2008. She believes that she was part of that, and the government had said no at the time. But was she a velvet no besides a recruiter, besides a predator, besides an abuser, besides a child trafficker? What else was she? Because she's trying to be one of the fixers now. And remember, Hollywood and the government have been in cahoots since the early 1900s. Check out my haunted history of Hollywood. I am blending everything together, and I started from the beginning in 1908. So go ahead and check that out from the beginning. I promise you will not be disappointed. And let me know your thoughts on this episode in the Den. Thank you for joining me on the Dark Entertainment Network. If you've got something to say, send me an email at welcometothedenpodcast@gmail.com.